In this video, we're going to compare discounted adjustable rate mortgages to fixed rate mortgages. Are they cheaper? Which one makes more sense for you? Well, stay tuned to find out. If this is your first time to the channel, welcome, glad to meet you. My name is Wendy Pennell and I am a local realtor and broker here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And like I said, today we're gonna explore this whole idea of discounted or adjustable rate mortgages compared to fixed rate mortgages. You know, so you're looking to buy a home, but interest rates have gone up recently. This can really change what you can afford, but you could get an adjustable rate mortgage with a lower interest rate. You know, so what are those? And what makes sense for you, right? Well, first, let's go ahead and talk about the fixed rate mortgage. This one is pretty uncomplicated, right? The interest rate is fixed throughout the entire life of the mortgage. Now, what are you getting with that? Well, you're getting predictability, but you're paying for it, okay? Because the rate is higher. Now, I'm gonna say that again because you probably never thought of it that way. With a fixed rate mortgage, you are paying for the security with a higher interest rate. You're paying for the predictability, okay? And if you think about it, that makes sense, right? Because you are making the lender assume all of the risk, okay? So the lender either benefits or doesn't benefit. Interest rates go up or down, the lender takes the risk, but you don't, okay? So regardless of what interest rates do, whether they go up or down, no big deal to you, it doesn't change, but you're paying for it, okay? And you may have never thought about it that way, and I get that, okay? Because, you know, we've just come through a period where the government intervened to make interest rates artificially low, right? So that, you know, you probably never thought about the fact that when you get a fixed rate mortgage, you're paying a higher rate for that predictability. Now, let's take the flip side for a minute and let's talk about the discounted mortgage. Okay, so the first thing you need to know is that a discounted mortgage is also an adjustable rate mortgage. Okay, they mean the same thing. So discounted adjustable rate mortgage, also sometimes they're called ARMs for adjustable rate mortgage. So regardless of which term you've heard, just know a discounted mortgage is when the interest rate can change periodically, okay? So with a discounted mortgage, you are sharing the risk with the lender, okay? So fixed rate, you were not sharing that risk. The lender takes it all. With adjustable rate or discounted, you're sharing that risk. No, you never have to wonder how often it's gonna change or how soon it will change, because all of that is spelled out in the mortgage, okay? So in a discounted mortgage, you're gonna have a fixed period of time when your mortgage will not change. And after that fixed period of time, the interest rate will change. It might adjust up, it might adjust down, it might stay the same, right? But how often it adjusts will be a part of your mortgage as well, right? So you're gonna know that. So like, for example, it might adjust every 6 months. It might adjust every year, okay? So, you know, like common adjustable rate mortgages you'll hear about are like a 3-1, a 5-1, a 7-1. As an example, okay, a 7-1 mortgage. It has a fixed rate for 7 years. And after that, it'll begin to adjust, right? So the bank is like, hey, I will give you a lower rate if you will share some of this risk with me. Okay, so a discounted mortgage is a little more detailed, right? Because you've got to understand all of those little details, okay? Because it's fixed for a certain period of time. It's not gonna adjust, and that is the first number. When I just said 7-1 mortgage, that 7 is the time that it's fixed, okay? And then it's gonna begin to adjust, right? And that's the second number. So again, 7-1, fixed for 7 years, and it adjusts every year after that. Now, how can you know how much it will adjust, right? I mean, who makes that decision? How do we know? What is the sky the limit here? What's going on? Well, for that, you're gonna have to know two other terms, and those terms are, ready? Are you waiting for it? Index and margin. Your mortgage is tied to an index, okay? And basically an index is what reflects the general market conditions. It might be US Treasury, it might be something known as the LIBOR, it might be secured overnight financing rate. Okay, just know that when you hear the word index, it refers to generally what the market is doing. What you're generally gonna see, interest rates going up, interest rates going down, okay, that's index. Now, what is the margin, right? Because I told you there were two terms, index, margin. The margin is the number of percentage points that are added to your mortgage, to your interest rate, above the index, okay? Now, the margin doesn't change, but it is different with every loan, and it's something that you really want to pay attention to and shop for. You know, for example, if you've been paying attention to the Federal Reserve, right, you may have heard they just met, they've raised interest rates to 1.5%. But wait a minute, mortgage rates are like over 6% now. What's that? Okay, well, that gives you an example of index plus margin, okay? Every margin has an index, and every mortgage has a margin, okay? With a fixed rate mortgage, your index won't adjust, right? You're making the lender take all that risk, and because of that, your margin will be higher, all right? But with an adjustable rate mortgage, your index will adjust, and because of that, your margin will be lower, all because look at you, you're so nice, you're sharing the risk with the lender. Now, when does a discounted mortgage make sense? Does it ever make sense? Is it cheaper? Okay, well, as you're kind of processing that and going through that in your mind, here are some questions that you can ask yourself, okay, to help you decide. All right, here's the first one. Think about the home you can afford to buy, okay? The home, right now, you're looking at homes, you're getting an idea roughly of what type of home you're going to be able to buy in your budget, okay? How long are you planning on staying in that home, okay? Are you a first-time home buyer, you know? And maybe this is your first home and it's a tiny 1,000 square foot home and you want a big family, okay? Are you gonna stay in that home for 30 years? Probably not, right? Will you stay there for 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, okay? This is where you decide how comfortable you are with risk and whether or not you're willing to share that risk with the lender, right? Are you gonna stay in that home for 30 years, right? Or do you maybe just need it fixed for 5 years? All right, now here's another example. We have many buyers who want acreage eventually. They want a move-in ready home, but ultimately they want to take that move-in ready home and they want it on acreage, right? So they want mature trees, they want space between their neighbors. So they want nice updated home plus acreage. Now, right now, they can afford only one or the other, right? In order to get the nice home that they want, they're having to settle for a tiny little yard in a master plan subdivision. So they look at that home, they're like, it works for now. I don't want to be here for 30 years, okay? Because ultimately they want big trees and a big yard, okay? So in those cases, right, you have to think about that mortgage. Now, we also have people who are here temporarily. They might be in seminary or they might be in college, but ultimately they know they're going to be returning to their home state. It's another example of, are you going to pay 30 years for a fixed rate mortgage when you know you're not going to be here for 30 years? Okay, so in these situations, an adjustable rate mortgage makes sense. So you're gonna ask yourself, right, as you're deciding what mortgage you're gonna use, hey, am I gonna live in this home for 30 years? And if not, why do I wanna pay a higher rate for a 30-year fixed rate, okay? Now, another whole angle on this is for you to ask yourself, what will interest rates do in the future? Okay, this is great for people who like to, study the economy and understand market trends. For example, right now, if you were to Google what happens to interest rates during a recession, all of the results are going to say that interest rates go down. Then, if you Google recession, you're going to see tons of websites that say that the U.S. is headed for one, okay? So if you believe that interest rates are going to go down in the future with a recession, right, it makes sense to go with an adjustable rate mortgage, right? So your two questions then become, how long will I stay in this house? And how long before I'll be able to refinance? So maybe it is the house that you're going to stay in for 30 years, but you're pretty sure you're going to be able to refinance in maybe 2 or 3 years, okay? All right, well, are discounted mortgages cheaper? Well, if you plan to be in your home less than 30 years, they're absolutely cheaper. If you're living there for 5 years and your rate is fixed for 5 years, right? You just got a lower interest rate and your mortgage never adjusted once. Remember, okay, remember this, a lower interest rate means a lower monthly payment. It means more of your payment is going to pay down principal. You're paying less in interest over the life of the loan, so you're going to have more equity. Plus, it helps you qualify for a higher mortgage if you want to go that route, okay? So lower interest rate is worth pursuing. It's worth processing these thoughts, okay, about how long you're going to be in the home, how long it will be before rates will go down again. Now, personal experience, okay? We purchased our current home 19 years ago on an ARM, an adjustable rate mortgage, okay? It was an index plus 1%, and it was fixed for 10 years. That is an excellent mortgage, okay? We were always 1% above whatever rates were at the time. We saved tens of thousands of dollars over the years by paying down our mortgage faster, right, as well as having a lower payment. And the whole reason was we were willing to share the risk with the lender for a lower payment. So really, ultimately, it boils down to your personal situation, your risk tolerance. Right now, we're in a market where rates have gone up. The market is tilting in favor of buyers, all depending on the price range. So in the lower price ranges, the sellers still have all the say, and we're still getting a ton of multiple offers above list price, right? But in the higher price ranges, sellers are starting to come down on that price, starting to be a little more flexible, right? And if you decide an ARM makes sense, you can jump into the market and you can take advantage of that. Finally, prices are improving. Finally, the buyers are getting a say. And if you can get comfortable with an adjusted rate mortgage, meaning it makes sense for your situation, you can get a great house and still get a great interest rate. All right, well, tell me, was this information helpful? Sure hope it was. If it was, the next best thing you can do is hop over to my channel and watch a few more videos, right? And listen, don't forget the description section of this video, because there you're gonna find a link to our Facebook group. There are tons of people just like yourselves who are either looking to buy in Dallas or relocating to Dallas. And it's tough. It is a tough road. And how great would it be to have advice and, just support from other people just like you. So definitely look in the description section, join our Facebook group, okay? We are very interactive there, lots of advice, lots of just funny things, lots of experience sharing. So definitely hop over there and take a look. It's a great place to be. It's just very much a community of folks that are moving into the Dallas community. Okay, that's the best way I can think of to describe it. Also, in the description section, check out our website, homeindallastexas.com, because you're going to find a ton of stuff there, like utility concierge, new construction guides. Oh, and if you haven't learned enough already with all of our videos, okay, you're going to find a link to our blog page, okay, because we have tons more articles on communities and moving tips. Oh goodness, Mansfield, Prosper, Irving, Frisco. You're going to find it all in our blog page as well. So really, from connecting and making friends to helping you get support to blogs to us walking you through every step of the relocating process, there's no one else who's going to provide you with that level of support. Okay, so we are there for you. Let's get acquainted. All right, well, listen, in the meantime, thank you so very much for watching, and hey, have a great day.